The weather is quite frightful, but perfect for testing gravel bikes, nice and muddy. Now, I'm not actually testing gravel bikes in this video, but group sets designed for gravel bike riding. And I've got two of the most exciting one-by offerings in front of me. So from America and from SRAM, we have their latest top-end mullet setup with red levers, a red crankset, and an Eagle mountain bike rear mech and cassette. And then from Italy and CAMPAG, the brand spanking new Ekar 1x13 group set, so 13 speed mechanical shifting. And these are two of the most exciting group sets in this space, in my opinion. And I've had these two bikes for the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, ridden all my local and favourite trails here in the Cotswolds, starting with dry, dusty conditions when they first arrived, to more recently mud and wet leaves and lots of rain, as you can tell today. Quite challenging filming conditions, I must admit. And I've had the two group sets on the same diverged frame as well, which has been perfect for really focusing on the performance aspects of the two group sets. So yes, I am spoilt. The Diverge, by the way, is an awesome gravel bike. You can see my full review on this bike linked above if you missed that. So now let's talk about performance, shifting, braking, and other key things you need to know about these two group sets and how they compare. So let me get rid of this, don't need that, and dive in. We'll start with SRAM, and this, in my opinion, is the current benchmark when it comes to one-by gravel bike group sets. And they call it a mullet setup because essentially you have road at the front and mountain bike at the rear. So we've got red levers, a red single ring chain set, and a mountain bike Eagle rear mech and cassette. The setup we have here is a 42 tooth single ring on the front and a massive 1050 cassette on the back. That cassette alone gives a 500% range. In terms of gear inches, to give you an idea of how the group set compare, you're looking at a 23-inch lowest gear and a 116-inch top gear. So it's a wireless setup, a single battery on the rear mech. There's an app integration as well for checking the firmware and battery life and other things you can do through the app. So a really modern group set, combining the best of road and mountain bike. And then from Italy, it's a brand new CAMPAG Ekar 1x13 group set. Launched a few weeks ago. You might see my first look and my first ride. And if you missed that, linked above. So CAMPAG, as you probably know, best known for their high-end road bike group sets, a real innovator. But they don't have that mountain bike expertise and experience to fall on that SRAM do. I mean, back in the day, they launched a mountain bike group set, but it wasn't very successful, so they stuck to road. So to see them launch a gravel bike group set has been an interesting development, but some interesting stuff going on with group set that really sets it apart. So 1x13, mechanical shifting, so no batteries, no wireless, no electronics. It's a 1x only as well, unlike SRAM and Shimano, there's no 2x offering. We've got a choice of 3 cassettes. The one we have here is the widest range, 942, offering a 467% range, so down compared to SRAM. And we have a 38 tooth chainring on this, which is the smallest they currently offer. You can go bigger if you want, but you can't go smaller than 38. When it comes to range, we have a tallest gear of 116 inches, but a lowest gear of 24 inches. So when it comes to range, it's clear SRAM has the advantage. Bigger cassette, lower gears, you can go even lower with a smaller chainring. So for big mountain climbs or going bike packing with all the extra weight, when you really need lower gears, SRAM has the advantage. But it's not quite as clear cut to that, and when you look at the cassettes, we see some interesting differences. Now, why I really like the Ekar group set so far is the 13 speed cassette starts with a tiny 9 tooth sprocket, 10 tooth on the SRAM for reference. And what it's done is make sure the first 6 sprockets have a 1 tooth increment. So that's good for higher speed riding when your cadence is higher and you want the nice smooth steps from one gear to the next. By comparison with SRAM, you're getting 2 tooth increments at the lower end of the cassette. And when you get to the 50, which is massive compared to the 42 on that one, the steps are quite big. So the big compromise with a SRAM setup, offering as it does a huge range, it's the bigger steps between some of the sprockets, which you may not like, but might not be a problem depending on your riding style. CAMPAG by comparison offers a much tighter range for the first half of the cassette, so for fast, high-speed riding on gravel or road, it feels more natural. Let's talk about ergonomics, and here we have a very clear and very interesting difference between the two group sets, totally different schools of thought when it comes to changing gear. With CAMPAG, it's a tried and tested, decades-old shifting system, which is all on the right-hand shifter, and a paddle behind a brake lever for going up the gears, and a thumb shifter for going down the gears, which they've totally reshaped so you can now access it from the hoods or drops much more easily. Now it's a big improvement on the old design. I can reach it from the drops or the hoods really easily, and it works really nice. I do find it a really easy system to use. It doesn't take long to get used to it, so very intuitive. The shifting is not as refined as other mechanical group sets. A little bit clunky, which is a familiar term used disparagingly with CAMPAG group sets, but it's nice and reassuring. You definitely know you change gear. I did find myself mis-shifting a couple of times. Quite a lot of lever throw on that paddle there, but you get used to it. The other aspect of ergonomics is the hood design, and I really like CAMPAG's offering here. Quite low profile, quite narrow, quite a tall knobbing as well. Nice texture material, feels really good in the hands. I get my small hands around the hoods entirely, and I do like that. Similar size to Shimano Di2 perhaps, but the shifting won't be for everyone. In comparison, SRAM uses two paddles, one behind each brake lever, which they first introduced with eTap all those years ago, and it's really easy and really intuitive. Right goes up and left goes down. So simple. Quiet as well, a small electronic whir, which I quite like. You get used to that. Very responsive, quick, just press a button, change gear, much easier than Ekar's mechanical setup. Fixed brake levers as well, nice broad brake levers, and the hood ergonomics are good. They're a bit fatter perhaps, still quite low profile. A bigger, squarer block though, which a lot of people don't like, but they are nice to use, probably not quite as nice as Ekar. Both group sets are just lovely to use. Really impressive technology here. For riding off-road, I think One Bite offers many benefits. It's just easier and simpler to use. And 12 and 13 sprockets really help justify leaving the front mech on the shelf. Going up and down the cassette rather than managing the front mech is so much easier, and for me makes riding off-road much more enjoyable. When it comes to the steepest climbs, SRAM really has the edge. It just has a lower range, and you go to an even smaller chainring for even lower gears. So for big adventures and bike packing, it's the obvious choice. I've used the same group set in the Italian mountains, and I really appreciated having the 52 sprocket when I was on my last legs. So far, I'm really liking the Ekar group set. You might see my first ride, linked above if you missed it. But what I'm really liking is how CAMPAG has really nailed its first attempt at a 1x group set. On the road or high-speed gravel, it feels very much like a normal 2x setup. You don't miss a front mech at all. There are no massive extreme jumps at the smaller end of the cassette, so you maintain a perfect cadence at all times. However, the lowest gear isn't quite as low though, and 38 is currently the smallest chainring you can buy, so that is a limitation. So for very steep climbs, SRAM has the advantage. But if you spend more time on rolling terrain, riding at high speed, and you're not going bike packing, it's less of a problem. When it comes to braking performance, they are both very good and on the same page in terms of power. They're both hydraulic disc brakes with 160mm rotors, and they're both very powerful, and they both allow one finger braking in all situations. I would say CAMPAG probably has the advantage with a slightly lighter feel at the bite point with more adjustment available, and SRAM may be a little bit less delicate, but both are very powerful and allow one finger braking in all situations. One neat detail with SRAM is you can adjust the lever and contact reach, which is really nice for dialing in the levers to your preference. When it comes to price, Ekar easily wins the contest. The group set costs £1,447 compared to £3,090 for the SRAM setup. But if worth adding, you can always downgrade to forced levers, a forced chain set and a cheaper cassette to bring the price down. But still, you can buy two Ekar group sets for the price of one SRAM group set. But Ekar is a simpler mechanical group set, while SRAM uses the latest wireless electronic technology. So in summary, these are two exceptionally good 1x gravel bike group sets, and whichever group set you would choose, you would not be disappointed with at all. But which you choose comes down to which of the pros and cons most appeals to you and what you want from your bike and gravel bike group set. Let's start with the Italian offering, and I was really surprised and then subsequently really impressed with the Ekar group set. It's designed from the outset to be a 1x gravel bike group set, but there are some compromises. Namely, the range is not as generous as a SRAM setup. But the single redeeming feature on this CAMPAG Ekar group set, and why I think it's so exciting this year, is all down to this cassette. So using that tiny 9-tooth sprocket and 13 sprockets in total, and using the first 6 with 1-tooth increments, gives a nice, smooth, seamless transition from one gear to the next at high speeds. If you dislike the jumps you get on SRAM setup, you'll definitely like this. And that is why I think it's so exciting, and it's a reason to overlook some of the other issues that might be holding you back, like mechanical gear shifting, the ergonomics perhaps, and the limited range of chainring options. And so to SRAM. Now it might look like a half-baked solution combining road and mountain bike, but in a way it's combining the best of both worlds. You get the road ergonomics and a mountain bike gear range. And for range, you can't beat this group set. And if you're going bike packing with all the extra weight in your frame pack and seat pack, or going up really steep off-road mountain climbs, the lower gears and a wide range will be a bigger bonus than what you get with Ekar. So it's a clear winner between CAMPAG Ekar and SRAM Red Eagle. Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's so clear cut, so black and white that one group set trumps the other. If money's no object, I'd probably pick SRAM. I love the wide range and low gears you get, and I love the wireless ergonomic shifting. It works really well. But it is expensive and that price is hard to overlook. But Ekar is half the price, but not half the performance. There's a lot to like here. Simple mechanical shifting. I love the cassette. I think 13 speed really helps to unlock the potential of one by and really minimises the drawbacks you get by taking away the front mech. And it's a fully baked one by solution. But the ergonomics won't be for everyone. You can't go lower with a chainring option, and some people don't like the looks of it, although I don't really mind it. So which to choose? Well, maybe I'll leave it up to you. Which will you choose? Which will you buy between your two group sets? If money is an object or money is not an object, let me know in the comment section below which of your group sets most floats your boat and what you're looking for in a gravel bike group set this year. But that's all for now. I'm pretty wet. It hasn't stopped raining for the entire filming of the video, so I'm going to leave it with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Follow me on Instagram for more behind the scenes, and I'll see you all again in the next video, hopefully a little bit drier.